Hi, my name's Bill Angel. I'm Professor Emeritus of Housing Studies. I'm very happy to talk about an important design leader at the University of Minnesota and much beyond the university. Her name is Gertrude Estroes. Gertrude, much like Ralph Rapson and the Goldstein sisters, was a product of rural parts of the states of, in Gertrude's case, Minnesota, in the Goldstein and Rapson's case, northern Michigan. So Gertrude was born in 1914 to Finnish parents, and first generation, she endured discrimination in school. She also survived with her family one of the greatest fires in Minnesota's history, the 1918 Cloquet and Hinckley fires. She escaped with her family by train. Later on, Gertrude was a 4-H member, and she won a trip to the state fair. And at that time, and even today, 4-H students that are at the state fair are housed on the St. Paul campus. And as while she was there, that she discovered that the University of Minnesota's College of Agriculture had a boarding school. And she went back home, earned money. She came back and convinced the head of that boarding school to allow her to enter. And so she did high school on the St. Paul campus. Later on, she went on to receive her bachelor's in related arts. She taught later on at a boarding school in Morris, which eventually became the University of Minnesota at Morris. She moved on, she taught at the University of Illinois in the late 1930s. It was a period of great unrest and controversy. And to deal with that, Gertrude co-founded a local chapter of the American Civil Liberties Union. Later, she moved on to teach at a women's college in St. Louis, and she was there at the outbreak of World War II. She decided to enroll or volunteer with the American Red Cross, and she served under combat conditions in the Southwest Pacific. And after World War II, Gertrude returned to the University of Minnesota and became an instructor teaching related arts and design, an introductory course, for a few years, and then became head of the Department of Related Arts, which became the design department, which today is design, housing, and apparel. Under Gertrude's tenure was a period of unrest, especially around rural housing issues and urban housing. In fact, the riots of the 60s in the center cities were very much influenced by the substandard housing conditions that existed then, the lack of affordable housing. Boy, those sound like issues that resonate even today. And that influenced Gertrude to do several things. She helped co-found the American Association of Housing Educators to design a response to those issues in land-grant universities. She also co-founded Project for Pride in Living, which exists today and has been very active in the preservation of affordable housing, especially in the center cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul and beyond that. And part of that intent also with PPL was for Gertrude to have a venue where undergraduate students could have a hands-on experience working with design issues with families that were facing major crises around affordable housing, how to apply design in those cases. That was much of the philosophy of Gertrude, that design should be applied and applied to the contemporary issues of the time. Gertrude, as I mentioned earlier, was department head for 30 years. And she led the development of specialized fields of design, education, and research and scholarly production, including costume design, interior design. She helped, or she is very much at the center of the founding of the Goldstein Gallery, the Goldstein Museum of Design today. She was an incredible leader, and her mark is very much at the heart of the College of Design today. She had a philosophy, and part of her legacy include that design should serve the common person in a very direct and applied way. And that was reflected in her teaching and the teaching of her faculty. She also very much believed that design education and design research and creative production should serve a culturally diverse population or audience. She is very much an internationalist in her approach to design, and that's still reflected today in much of the program that still exists as a result of Gertrude. One final comment that I would make is Gertrude was a firm believer that design should have equal strength in scientific research as well as creative production. And she was a believer that the core success of design would be when you could fuse both the research and creative production sides.